passed an amendment to the electoral law.
Saying?
First reading, second reading, third reading, in one day. The governor assented to it on that same day. What was the amendment? It was to ensure that instead of a 7-man panel for tribunals into these elections, they reduced it to 3 people and put a proviso that 2 can sit and form a quorum.
With these elections?
With these elections. I'm telling you, 2 days to this election.
But
so we have this culture of people saying, go to court. Go to court. It's not new. If people know that they cannot get justice before the court, they must find avenues to ventilate their grievances.
Is that the impression they have?
Oh, yes. Oh, I just told you what happened. It's more difficult to manipulate a 7-man panel than a 3-man panel out of whom 2 can sit and take decisions. So there was already a prelude. There was a gradual movement towards this crescendo.
You know, if you talk about the election that has been cancelled in East and Northeast,
yes.
Some would say, well, Mr. Isibo was absolutely correct because a member of the PDP also attempted to grab a ballot box in that particular election. And if you say it has been monitored by the CP as well as the director of the state services, don't you think that all of these amounted to what we just heard about the cancellation? They must have seen that, well, some violence or form of hooliganism we actually witnessed on that day.
I'll tell you this. There was more violence reported from East and West where PDP did not contest because they felt that the sensitive materials had been exposed than the incidents of thugs. Look, the thugs we all watch it on television, they've been showing it. All the thugs were rounded up by the commissioner of police and they were brought out of Uromi down to Benin. The elections went on as peacefully as it could be.
So Mr. Isibo is therefore correct when he said that some people were arrested with thugs and with clubs and machetes.
Oh yes, and we know who they are. Except that as a civil society actor, I am not here to represent any political party. We know those who have been saying, let them be sent on trial. We also know those who have been saying that no, they are on the other side and so on. We know who the thugs are. Look, the thugs that have been empowered in Edo State to unleash mayhem, we know who empowered them. We know who employs them.
Who did or who does?
I'll give you a clear example. In Edo State right now, if you have a store anywhere and you are selling petty things, because we are all talking of encouraging small and medium scale enterprises, you are likely to be paying 8 different kinds of taxes and levies. And who are those collecting them? You don't see any agency of government. You see people who come with cutlasses, who threaten to beat you up, and they actually beat you up and nothing happens. Look, we are gradually degenerating into full-blown dictatorship. And I don't think Edo State is the harbinger. I don't think it started there.
From the governor of Edo State?
I don't think it started. I'll give you this.
I think
the situation in Nigeria is so militarized. Even a democratic dispensation.
Restrict ourselves to these particular elections.
That's what I'm saying.
No, going to talk about
you ask the question as to who has been empowered. And I just opened a little window for you to see the activities, the ongoing.
You know, in spite of all, the courts are always the best places where people...
I agree with you. Look, let me tell you. There's El Nino, a title in Ralph Waldo Emerson's book, who said, I know there is a law. I know the law says I must not steal. But the law did not say I must stay hungry. Those who want us to approach the courts must first ensure that justice is accessible in court. This is the issue. I can say here and advise people to wait and go to court, but they know the reality on the ground. They have experience of these matters.
But the point is...
So we are not calling anybody to violence, but we are saying that pressure needs to be applied to bring to reason those who feel that they have a natural right to appropriate our common patrimony and subjugate us, reduce us to the level of subservience.
Well, if you're able to express yourself, how does that repression work? It means that you can always take your case to
when
the
you
next
talk about expressing, let me give you 2 examples. One,
we're not sure we have...
On the election day, sir, one of the most independent media house in Benin, independent television, was barred from covering the rescheduled elections. Barred by SEC. And then, of course, we made our views known. We did the protest. The next day, the chairman said nobody barred them. But they didn't know that the voice of the PRO was captured on television. stating that a list was given to her where ITV was omitted.
Are you a member of the PDP?
I cannot be...
were you an agent of the PDP in the last governorship
Certainly
election?
not. And I think I need to throw a little light to clear this. We have gone beyond political parties. But the truth of the matter is that the enemy of my enemy has become my friend.
Even as an observer?
Oh, yes. As an observer, sir, I have a stake. Why did I observe? It is to ensure that there is sanctity of the ballot. It is to ensure that the elections are manifestly free, fair, and credible.
So who's
because
your enemy
the greatest
here?
form of corruption, is electoral corruption.
Are you saying then that the Edo State governor is now your enemy?
No, certainly not.
So who is your enemy? Because you said the enemy of your enemy is now your friend.
Any institution that seeks to subvert the popular will of the people becomes my enemy. Any institution, by whatever name it goes by.
All right. Austin Osakue is the Executive Director, Foundation for Good Governance and Social Change, and also served as an independent election observer in Edo State. Thank you for coming on today.
Thank you. God bless you.
We'll be back in just a moment here, so please join us again.